on the different platforms I'm connected to. Welcome to Eat the Cake, Drink the Wine, Fuck Them People, and Keep Manifesting, where we will be talking about the subconscious mind, which is key number 2. I'm sorry. See, life is lifing right now. I don't understand.
Huh.
My computer keeps let me do this. I'm gonna move you to the big screen off of the small screen.
Ooh, I like the big screen.
Okay, so we're gonna do that. See, it just means I need to keep adjusting. Everything happens for a reason, nothing just happens. Okay, so we're gonna move all of this stuff over. We're gonna move Susie Q this way. I'm gonna turn Susie Q off. We're gonna turn Susie Q this way. Okay. And we're live. We are live. So welcome to episode 2 of Eat the Cake, Drink the Wine, and Fuck Them People, where we will be talking with T.W. Kang, the author of Cheat Code, and we're going to be going over key number 2, the subconscious mind. And as I was saying earlier, my subconscious mind has no idea that this is not a real stack of $100 bills.
No.
I'm manifesting money.
Yeah.
And I want my subconscious mind to always think about money. Now, TWK, before we went live, before you joined the live, I actually read an excerpt from the book, key number 2, and I was explaining to them how you have in your book that the law of gravity, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity. And that's really how the law of attraction works. And jumping into the subconscious mind, if you want to go ahead and talk us through that moment that you actually decided to write this book, was that something that you put in your subconscious mind first to actually write the book?
Well, you know, I've been contemplating writing a book for a while, but like I say, I end up talking with a friend of mine, and he needed them $500 that I thought. And so when he got the $500 the same day, he was like, "Man, you need to write the book. You got the cheat code." And so when he said that, it kind of like just sparked me, and it kind of surprised me at the same time. I didn't know it was gonna come that quick, but he got it on the same day.
You got it on the same day.
On the same day. So I end up, I was like, well, let me put down some of my experiences in the book. So that's how I came up with cheat code.
Okay, and one of the items you mentioned in that very first chapter, not the very first chapter, the second key, first paragraph, you ended that first paragraph with much of the power that governs the universe doesn't care about your religious belief.
No.
And go ahead, because you mentioned that religious belief and how it holds so many people
because
back.
Like we was talking last week, when you start talking about universe and all this stuff, you kind of lose what I say religious folks, you know, because it's like, you talking something spooky but okay, if you believe in God, you believe that God created the universe, he created the heavens, you know,
right.
the heavens of heavens. So it's like, you know, that's why I say it's kind of conditioned for us just to be one track.
Right.
And even if you read the Bible, it says that your tradition and religion has made the word of God non-effective. So we got a lot of.
Let's talk about that.
Oh,
let's talk about that, because a lot of people do not realize the things that you learn in church through religion. When a blessing comes, a lot of people give up the blessing because they feel like it's evil or the devil based on what they've been taught religiously.
Yep.
So unpack some of those other things that people might come in contact with in church that will block their subconscious mind from doing what it needs to do.
Well, one thing we know is that a lot of people quote that money is evil. You know,
Mm-hmm.
But it's not
True.
money is evil, it's the love of money.
Right.
When you put that above everything, when you put that above God, when you worship money, then but we know that money is a necessity, and shoot, it say money answers all things,
So
but
how can it be evil?
they forget about that scripture. Money answer all things.
Right. So
Because
how can it be evil?
yeah, so but it's just, tradition just I mean, and it like just puts us on a one track mind that we don't open up other, because I don't know if you remember, but I was telling you about how I got started into the
Mhm.
traction when I was detailing the guy car, and
Right.
he sponsored me to go on one of the little summits that he goes to, and it was probably about $4,000 to get in, but
Right.
but it was so many people there who were getting results from what we got in the Bible for free, but we're not pulling the power out of what we're reading. So cheat
Right.
code is basically, it cuts through all the meat, and then if you read it, you're gonna get what you need to get, and it's all in timing. Like I say, my friend got it in, that
The
same.
same day.
It may take you a week, or it may take you a year, but we don't know, you know, because it's all how you've been conditioned.
Right.
Because because once we talk about the subconscious, but once the subconscious, when you become aware of your words that you speak, you'll begin to see results faster, because if you say somebody, how they say, boy, you killing me. Okay,
Right.
the
Yeah.
subconscious mind gonna say, I don't think he really mean that. I ain't gonna stop it,
Right. Right.
nothing like that. But just words like that. So the subconscious mind has to figure out, okay, I don't think but once the subconscious mind know that, okay, he know what he's saying now. Let me go ahead and put this, because
Right.
it's like the subconscious. That's what all our creativity at. That's why when you go to bed, you don't have to think about, okay, let me make sure my heart beating. It's all
It's gonna happen automatically.
subconscious.
Right.
The heart is just beating by itself. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? When you're gonna wake up. So it's like once we start learning about the subconscious mind and law of attraction, we become more stewards of our words.
Right. And I've heard because this is something I want to say within the last maybe year or two. I've heard a lot of people starting to say, and it's really not new people, these are older pastors, and it's like their footage is coming forward. And it says the Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving earth. And if you really read the Bible and look at it more so as a guide system,
Mm-hmm.
you'll pick up a lot of those things that are really the basis of the law of attraction, because it even
Yeah,
says in the
is that,
Bible, let the weak say, I am strong.
yeah,
So it's teaching you to say something that you don't necessarily see, but you have enough faith to believe. And that's what you're supposed to focus on.
yeah, and that's the root. I mean, faith is the root of it.
Exactly.
Without what
Exactly.
they say, without faith, it's impossible to please God.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But without faith, it's pretty much, faith is almost a law in itself, because if you don't believe in something, it may not happen for you.
Exactly. And speaking of that, I recall because I was introduced to Reverend Ike through your book. And he actually had a sermon, and I was trying to break this down to my brother-in-law, and he was kind of like, but after I gave him the explanation, he really understood. Reverend Ike said, if you don't have enough faith to believe in yourself, why would you ask somebody else to believe in you? So
Exactly.
it's kind of like thinking, if you believe that certain things are going to come to pass for you, if you can't believe it yourself, why are you asking for a God in the sky that you can't see to give it to you? He needs you to have enough faith to actually see it and believe it for yourself first.
It also, when you say that comes in business too, because
Yes.
I meet a lot of people who uh, who want you to invest in them, but they haven't invested in themselves. So they
Right.
want you to take all the risk, and then if it don't work, they ain't got nothing, no sweat in the game. So
Exactly.
so I it's like a lot of people don't believe in themselves, just like you say with God. You want God to do this, but you ain't believing it for yourself. I mean,
Right.
God is
You don't see it.
he's just he help assist us in what we believe.
Exactly, because we are able to manifest our own life, but that manifestation starts in the subconscious mind. Because if you're believing it, like me fanning, look, I'm believing it. Okay, I'm just because one day y'all won't see me fanning myself with some real stacks, and you have to plant that into your subconscious mind. Now, also in the book, you started speaking about the law, and you spoke on Joshua 1:8 that says, keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. And you said, look at what it says, the law.
The law.
What is a law? A law is an established principle. Let me define the subconscious mind. And then you actually gave a whole paragraph to help connect people that might still be lost to understand this is what your subconscious mind is. So let's go ahead and dig into that.
Yeah, because with like you say with all you're getting, you want to get understanding.
Come on, come on.
And so a lot of like I was saying, I think as in a whole, we was talking about Reverend Ike. Reverend Ike he was
Phenomenal.
not only phenomenal, but he was before his time.
He was definitely before his
He was
time. And I
before
think he was trying to help his people break the mindset that was given to them from slavery, which you mentioned that.
exactly. Exactly, because I don't know why we talk about this today, but I was telling someone else about how, but not only that, we talk about the subconscious, but through slavery, it actually helped form the way that we think subconsciously as a people.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so that's why when you read the Willie Lynch letter, he was basically telling them we need to get them to obey automatically, subconsciously.
Now, I never even looked at that way. So that really, because
Yeah,
we are so ingrained to not even trust one another.
yeah,
Which is crazy in itself. But a
yeah,
lot of that is rooted from the Willie Lynch letter that you just mentioned.
yeah. Subconsciously, it was planted in us from because we were saying that for as our paradigm that our environment helps shape the way that we think. And so through slavery, they wanted us to think a certain way. And that think was to, not run away, to worship, not to be together in unity where we can form a rebellion. And that has went down, the past 400 years?
Right. Over 400
It's
years.
not, and we still kind of there, but, we got little situations where we kind of sticking together in certain things. It's not like other nationalities. And so
This is true.
subconscious. So now we got to begin to reprogram ourselves. Really,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want. Even in the book, where I say Joseph Murphy, he said that the subconscious mind is the seat of emotions and is a creative mind. That's where all your creativity comes from. That's where all your desires come from. So that's where the power, the essence of our being relies, is in the subconscious mind. So we got to begin to be aware of how to train the subconscious mind to to attract those things that we want and that we desire.
True. And then I know you mentioned about our body and how we don't have to worry about breathing. So I'm gonna just read this excerpt. You said the subconscious mind is responsible for automatic bodily functions such as breathing, heartbeat, and digestion, as well as automatic behaviors such as driving a car or playing an instrument without conscious thought. And we talked about this, I think, last week, where you're driving a car and then you get to your destination, but you can't remember the last 20 minutes of driving, but you're like, well, how did I get here? Were there other cars on the road? Like, you can't remember
Yeah.
anything. You just know that you're there. And it's almost like when you learn a process, you do it without even thinking, because subconsciously, as they say, you can just do that process because you know that is the norm. And then you just mentioned Joseph Murphy. And in your book, you said the subconscious mind is the seat of the emotions and is the creative mind. It is the creative agency of the entire universe. So would you say if a person doesn't have creativity, that they lack connecting to their subconscious mind? Should everybody have some level of creativity in them?
Yes, I believe. Look now. I'm going to give you a prime example. The movies that are coming back, that's being hits now, are movies that was already shot in our childhood or our time back in the 80s and the 90s coming up, because we had more of a creative mind back then, because we didn't have, the internet and all this stuff. So we had to create games. We had to create certain things. So that was all part of, planting in the subconscious. Now they're not really creating like how we did. So it's like they want to reboot because there's no ideals, no fresh ideas coming.
I always wonder why we keep saying, like, why are we doing all these movies from my childhood?
Yeah.
But that's a good point. There's nobody out there creating something new. So they're like, okay, let me take what's old and just reboot it. Yeah. But is it aiming it towards our generation? Shouldn't we be doing something to help the younger people connect to their subconscious mind?
Yeah, we definitely should.
Yeah.
I don't think that's like far as like a whole, like even in our culture, it's not like a main topic.
Right.
We have to get them to program their subconscious kind of like subliminally, like this.
And the subliminal messages that they're picking up now are not the best, because they're coming from rap music, where they want to talk about taking all kinds of drugs and disrespecting people. And
I gave it
like, where are we going in the next 10 years?
Look, in our culture, we don't deal with science a lot. We just deal with wishing and hoping and praying. While other people are using scientific facts, analytics to see how we think, what we watching on Facebook, so they can know how to market us. And not only that, they know how to keep us at a certain place. So now we got like everybody talking about Sexy Red. What white or Asian or Jewish Sexy Red,
The only one that I can think of, if I go way, way, way back in time, it was Madonna.
So you way back in time.
Way back in time. And even then, I think she got a lot of ridicule like Sexy Red gets now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Madonna wasn't singing the type of lyrics that Sexy Red is singing either. So it's still kind of, that paradigm was still different from what we're experiencing.
Yeah, but even now, you gotta say a 9-year-old girl listening to Sexy Red every day, listening to Sexy Red every day. That's you may not say as words, but it just kind of programming her.
Right.
And the same way with gangster rap when it came out.
Yeah.
It's so many of us in prison because subconsciously we listen to this music, and then we in the club, somebody stepped on our shoes, and now we done shot them in
for no reason.
Where that came from?
Right. Because they thought that was the thing to do from what they were listening to. And I thought it ironic. Nicki Minaj had just mentioned that she knows Future, and a lot of people think that he does a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
Yep.
And I was like, but why would you rap this if that's not the case?
Yeah.
I just couldn't understand that. So it made sense. He probably looked and said, hey, based on my people and how their subconscious mind is set up, this is what I got to talk about to sell, because he came after the gangster rap era.
Yeah. Yeah.
So very, very
But
interesting.
that's perfect because he already know what the mindset is, and he's like, well, I ain't gonna do it. I used to do it, but I still got to talk about it because this is where they at.
Right.
It's money in it. So
Yep.
so that
Now, you mentioned that Joseph Murphy said by using techniques such as visualization, affirmations, and positive thinking, we could program our subconscious mind to attract success, abundance, and happiness into our lives. So, what would you tell someone in regards to what you have written in the cheat code, how this can help propel them forward in a shorter amount of time, where they don't have to sit down and read 1,001 books and listen to 1,001 videos, because you really gave them the cheat code within these 53 pages.
mm-hmm.
What is it that you want to help them understand with using those different techniques, how it can change their life?
I believe that everybody wants a better life. Everybody got a vision. Everybody got a vision. Most everybody got a vision that they want for their life, whether it's to have kids and buy a house or get married. Everybody got that vision, but everybody don't know how to get to it. And a lot of times our paradigm and how we was raised and all that kind of like, stops us, blocks us some of the time.
Right.
What we want. So we got to be deliberate on what we want and how we gonna get there. So visualization, and it's just power in the imagination. And so visualization, you have to see yourself already there before. And I guess that's the hardest part, is to really see yourself there before you have it. But all you got to do is just imagine and see yourself with what you desire
Before you have it.
Just take a couple seconds out each day and just meditate on that person that you want to be. Now on that, write it down. What would the person that you want to be, what would they do? What would they eat? What would they think? Where would they go? Where would they live? Where would they, you gotta begin to write it down, and then you can imagine, a little better once you see it on paper. And that's in the Bible too. What it say? Write the vision down.
Write the vision. Write the vision. Right. So when you're looking at that person you want to be, if you figure that person is going to get up and work out at 6 in the morning because they're up at 4, you need to what? Start waking up at 4, and at 6 you working out. You have to start applying some of those things to the best of your ability. There's going to be some things that you can't do yet because you're still trying to get them to come. But those are the things you need to really plan in your subconscious mind so they can come.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you just got to be deliberate. I mean, how bad you want it, how bad you want to change. Some people like where they at. Some people,
and you have to realize that if they like where they're at, leave them alone. Stop wasting your energy trying to change people that want to be where they're at.
And you said the perfect thing. Stop wasting your energy.
Stop wasting your energy.
I have to just back up from a person and let them hit that rock bottom.
Let them do what they're going to do. Because like in my studies this week, I was studying the law of polarity, and which is just opposites. And you're always going to have two sides of a spectrum. You're going to have good, you're going to have bad, you're going to have rich, you're going to have poor, you're going to have healthy, you're going to have sick. You're going to have positive, you're going to have negative. If a person just wants to be negative and you're trying to get them out of that negative mindset, don't waste your time, effort, and energy doing that, because before you know it, you're going to start being negative about this negative person. You have to just leave them alone. So let's jump into affirmations, because you mentioned affirmations in here. What are some affirmations that people could use when they're trying to program their subconscious mind?
It really depends on what they're trying to do. But I think just like the basics, affirmation is, I am healed, prosperous. I have a sound mind. Today is a good day. I mean, just just positive words of how you want your morning to go, or how you want your life to go, how you want your, you know, is, the affirmations that you want to constantly say, especially when you wake up in the morning. Just write them down.
Okay.
Going to be a good day. I like to look in the mirror and say, today is going to be a good day. You know,
Right.
Today is going to be a blessed and prosperous day. I got money coming from the east. I got money coming from the west. I got
I
money
love it.
south. So this the type one, once you get up, because when you get up, I say the first thing when you get up in the morning and when you go to bed, because it's like your spirit be open. It's
Right.
still like when you wake up a certain time, you still be in that place between,
In between the two realms, as they say.
yeah, in between the two
In
realms.
between the two realms.
Yeah, even though you woke, you still in that place where you can kind of, that subconscious is still kind of open.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. The two realms is the conscious mind and the subconscious mind.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's what the subconscious mind is. It's that consciousness below the consciousness.
Right.
Know
Okay.
about.
Okay.
So I so that's kind of like what I do when I wake up, and then when you before you go to bed, you getting ready to go into that subconscious place. So I either I'm listening to something, or I read my affirmations before I go to bed, and so that's pretty much how my day
So
go.
you going waking up positive, going to sleep positive, and being
Yeah,
positive in between.
yeah,
That's
because
that's
especially it depends on how you was raised, and just growing up in the hood, you have so much stuff that's in you just from your environment that you're trying to redo. Because even I did a throwback what they call it, throwback Thursday, and I was showing some of my old pictures, and they was like, dang, you totally changed, with the gold in my mouth,
right.
with the gold all on. But that was the environment that
That was the environment, and you weren't considered successful or doing anything
yeah,
unless you fit that whatever it was in your environment.
yeah. Hey, it's funny you say that, right? So back in high school, I think I was a good kid, but I didn't really started, like, what they say, like, pulling the girls until I got this image of being
Being a bad boy.
being the
Then
bad.
they were attracted to you.
Yeah, so I got the goal, I got this, then I got the car, then the next day, but then being that image, I began to conform to that image that I was portraying.
Because you like the feeling of it.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
so and that and really, that's, you said the key point right there.
The feeling.
It's the feeling. That's
Mhm.
why you gotta imagine, because you want to grab that feeling of being successful, that feeling of how would you be if you was healed, or that feeling of how would you walk around that house that you want, how would you feel in that new car. You want that
Right.
feeling, and that's what I did when I wanted, it was a Chrysler 300 when they first came out. And man, I just went to the dealership and test drove it. I didn't even know how I was gonna get it, where I was gonna get the money from, or nothing. And I just got that feeling, a high feel of driving, a high.
Mhm.
I ended up with a Chrysler 300. So it's like that feeling. You gotta really get that feeling of.
Really do. You really do. Because I remember when I wanted a Mercedes, but I was driving a Sentra. But every time I got in it, I said, I'm gonna take care of it and make it feel like I'm riding in a Mercedes. It took forever because my mind kept shifting back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But it finally came. I finally was able to get one. But I think it was me connecting to that feeling and understanding this, regardless of what I see, I'm gonna keep saying this. I'm driving the Sentra, but I called it a Benz. And
Yeah.
before I knew it, the Benz came, but I had to really program my subconscious mind. So it got to the point when I got in the car, I didn't see the Nissan sign on the steering wheel. I saw a Mercedes emblem. Every time I got in the car, that's what I visualized.
Mm-hmm.
So it really does work.
Hey, hey, I remember I was working at this job, right? And I was walking, going into the building, and one of the coworkers say, "Man, you all like you got money." I say, "Man, how that walk in?"
But it feels good when people tell you that, because I actually had D. Ray Davis, the comedian, right?
Mhm.
I was trying to take a picture with him after the show, and he was like, "Man, I don't really want to take no pictures." So he was telling everybody, and I was like, "Can you take a picture with me?" And he looked at me and he said, "You know what? You look like you got some money. I'm gonna take a picture with you." But my homegirl, she was hating on the whole scenario. She wouldn't take the picture because my phone went dead. But I
Right.
still have that memory implanted in my brain. And the
Yeah,
fact that somebody of his stature at the time was like, "You look like money." And I was like, I'm glad he said that, because I always felt like money and I tried to walk
yeah,
like money,
yeah,
talk like money.
yeah. And
So
I was talking because I'm gonna get ready to do a podcast too, and we was talking with one of the guests and co-host, and she was like, "Yeah, this gonna be $1 million podcast," but she was like, "Well, you probably already a millionaire." So it's just like if people just keep speaking stuff,
speaking it over you and you
yeah,
speaking it over
you
yourself,
just
it's
receive
gonna
it.
come.
You
Yeah.
just receive it. So I just receive it every time somebody say that. Okay, I receive.
Now you mentioned in the book that when you meditate day and night, you will prosper and be successful. And you gave 4 items that you do to program your subconscious and get the vision on the inside of you. And I just want you to go over that again, because you've already mentioned it before, but just to be sure that the viewers are connecting to the process of actually training and programming your subconscious mind.
Well, one, the first is they need to write their goals and their desires down, no matter how big or how small that
Right.
they think it is. Just write it down so you can see it, so you can it'll give you a direction, so it can stay
Right.
before you, and you won't lose track. Because sometimes we can lose track of things, but even if we just look at it that one time, that day, at least we got it. And
Right.
like I said before, when you wake up in the morning, look at it.
Right.
Read your goals during lunchtime while you on your lunch break. You know,
Right.
look at it for a second. It don't take no time to look at it, and then before you go to bed, because you want to be intentional, of what you got. Because when it manifests, you're gonna be like, okay, this thing worked. Let me go
Right.
to the next.
Right. Right. So basically, what they need to do was write it down, say it in the morning when they wake up,
Yeah.
say it midday, and then say it again before they go to
Yeah.
sleep
And then
at night,
another thing,
and visualize.
is just meditate on it. Just take 5 minutes or whatever. Just sit there and just block everything out, and just breathe in, breathe out, and just meditate on, because a lot of times people think that prayer and meditating is the same thing. And it's
And that's another one of those religion things.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I ain't gotta meditate, I pray.
Yep.
you know
Go ahead and break down the difference for our audience so they can understand the difference between praying and meditating.
Man, praying is you going before God, and you acknowledge Him, you giving thanks, and you know. I really like my prayers now is not really to go to God and ask Him for things, but to go to God and thank Him, for just thank you. Go to God and thank Him,
Mhm.
because I realize now He has given me the power to be a creator here on earth, to operate like, oh, sorry about that, to operate like Him on earth. So I believe that I am a creator. So now my prayer is gonna change to, I'm just thanking God for the wisdom. I'm thanking God that you know that my parents still alive. I'm just thanking Him and not asking Him, you know.
Right.
And if you that's where you at, that's where you at. But now I'm not. So then now I go into meditation, and when I go into meditation, I'm doing visualization. I'm envisioning where I want to go, what I want to do, what in life, and so that's what meditation does. It helps to kind of like get everything that you think and kind of like get you in tune with the subconscious and everything. So that's how I meditate, you know.
Okay. And you mentioned the subconscious mind is kind of like a genie that'll give us what we want, whatever we desire. And that even though the power of the subconscious is invisible, the results are very visible. And as I was reading this again last
Mhm.
night, it made me think, because you said, I wish someone had told me when I was younger how powerful the subconscious mind was. But I was taught just to pray and ask God for what I want. And I think that's how generational curses continue to occur,
Mhm.
because we don't stop to question, is there a better way to do this? Like if every one in the family has done the same thing
Mhm.
for the past 4 or 5 generations, and it's not giving us the right result, shouldn't we be trying to figure out what do we need to reprogram instead of passing along those same ideologies?
But you know what? Like you say, it just passed down, even because some churches can't go and say, "Hey, Pastor, I got a question, about this right here." They can't go to their pastor, or if they try and get some understanding, it's just what I said is what it is.
Right.
So and a lot of them believe that that's just what it is. And even in our family, it's like if grandma did it and great grandma did it, that's just what it is.
Right.
So that's how that stuff kind of get passed
And
down.
that, who was that? I can't remember who it was, but I'm gonna give the scenario they gave. They said their daughter was cooking a ham, and they would cut the end of the ham off and get rid of it. And
Mm.
one day the dad said, well, why do you cut the end of the ham off? Because the pot was clearly big enough for it all to fit in.
I think that was Joe Vitale.
Maybe it was. And the daughter was like, well, I did it because mama always did it. Well, why did your mama
No,
do it?
that
I don't
Bob,
know.
that was Bob Proctor.
Bob Proctor, okay. And
Yeah.
they went to go ask the mom. And the mom said, well, I always did it because my mama always did it. She didn't know why her mama did it. She just watched. And then she took what she saw and she applied it without asking any questions. So when they went and asked the mother why she did it, she said, well, I had to do it because the pot wasn't big enough. Now here they were with a pot clearly big enough, but they were still using that same mindset or paradigm to cut the end of the ham off as if that was going to make the ham cook better or taste better, when it was just because the pot was too small. So maybe our minds were too small, or we need to start thinking about, why are we passing down some of the generational thoughts? Like, are they still appropriate in this day and age, or is it something that we should leave back then? Like, it used to be a time when food was real scarce, right? So the
Mhm.
kids had to eat peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
There was no other choice, but now there's other options. So what if we still made all of our kids every day, you're gonna eat this peanut butter and jelly sandwich? That's all you're gonna get. Even
Mhm.
though we can give them macaroni and cheese, it's about the same price. We can switch it up a little bit. Now, another thing you said was about us being gods.
Oh, you know what? You know what? Let me piggyback back off what you said, that the subconscious is like a genie, because the subconscious is going to produce whatever you plant in it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. I don't know if they really, but if you keep look at Tupac. Tupac kept speaking, I see death around the corner,
That's
I
true.
die, I see heaven. Could it be that he manifested this on himself?
Right. Is that possible? Hold on, give me one. Keep talking to the people.
Oh,
I gotta
yeah,
figure out why my thing is going dead.
yeah. So you got to think about whether it's good or bad, whatever you speaking into existence, that is going to manifest. So when you say that the subconscious is a genie, it's going to produce whether it's good or whether it's
If
bad.
it's bad.
It's
Exactly.
it's going to produce. Like I say, your words are seeds, and it's going to fall upon that field that's in the subconscious, and it's going to grow. And
Absolutely, absolutely. And actually, for any of the viewers, there will be a training that I'm going to be doing on the law of polarity and the law of correspondence, which actually helps you to manifest. Because as you were just speaking, you're always going to have positive or negative. So if you're drilling negativity into your subconscious mind, that's what you're going to manifest. And as I spoke before in the law of correspondence, that's all about your mindset, your paradigm. As it is above, so it is below. And a lot of people, they don't connect to these different things that they're doing. They're still stuck in which was learned in church, naming and claiming, and that's all they do.
yeah,
But they don't understand there's other things that need to be done because faith without works is dead. That's in the Bible.
yeah.
But they think, okay, well, if I go to church and I pray and I pay my tithes and offering, then
Yeah.
anything that I'm saying
But
I want, I'll get.
you know what? And and I hate to say this because I done, I've been in church for so long, but it's really like people say it's like a money thing. And I say this because say if I went to uh say New Birth, they had Kanye speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And had his song. But why? Because he was popular. If I would have came and said, "Hey, I got a word for the people. I want to share. Do you mind?" No. What's the
Mm-hmm.
difference between me and Kanye?
Right. Right.
They know he's gonna bring the money in. So
Right.
it's like it preaches at a surface where you pay your tithe and offering, God gonna bless you. And so some people just think that's all they got to do, but it's more to that. He can bless you, yeah. He can bless you. What you sow, you gonna reap. So that's just a principle in itself. Whatever you sow, you gonna reap. You know.
Right.
So, but I think you have to begin to study for yourself. You know, and get your own as God to open up your heart so that you can receive wisdom and so that you can not move in tradition, you know. But
Right.
because what do you say? Tradition has made the word of God non-effective. You going
And
to church 30 years
he also said, study to show thyself approved. And
approved.
nobody studies.
Yeah.
They just take what Pastor said. Like if Pastor gives me a scripture, and if I read that scripture and it's not what he said, or I don't get the same thing, it's one of those situations where you eat the meat, throw away the bone, because none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
And a lot of us want to put our pastor on the pedestal and say, oh, he's perfect. He's going to give me the right thing. He's a Christian. But it's like, but did you go study it for yourself to verify?
Yeah. And I think a lot now too. I think I think I think a lot now, and just visiting, like white churches and black churches is like totally different.
It's different. It's completely
I
different. It is.
that a church the church I kind of visit, uh every Sunday they get up and, oh, we raised $400,000 this last week. We raised 500,000 this week. And I'm thinking that, okay, if your church worth $100 million, and you know that uh, people complaining about housing and all that, you can take 10 million and build a subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's like they teach us how to give, but I think in a whole, the church don't give like Jesus would give, because
Right.
if it's not costing me something, I give it. But if it's gonna cost, I can't give it. So um, most Jesus, not that we in church, but Jesus, he met the people where they was at economically, you know,
Mm-hmm.
socially, financially, you know, what, So I think that's the direction that we should, as a church. We can't operate like we've been operating for the past, you know, 50 years. We gotta
Right.
evolve. So just like we trying to evolve, with ourselves, I think
Mm-hmm.
the community and for its religion, we got to evolve as well.
Right. And I just want to take this time to plug my pastor, Bishop T.D. Jakes. I'm
Woo!
a church member because
Woo!
I
Hey,
believe he's
hey,
a
can I
pastor
tell you?
that he does what he says he's going to do. He
Exactly.
lets you know I'm not perfect. It depends on what day you catch me, which side of me you're gonna get. But he's actually trying to build a community because of the housing issue. He's
Yes.
trying to do something about the problems. He's not one of those pastors where it's always, oh, we raise the money for the building
Yep.
fund, but the building is never paid off. He said, oh, we debt free. We done manifested
Woo!
over
Girl, you
here.
preaching.
So I believe in my heart and soul that Bishop Jakes really is a manifestation pastor like Reverend Ike was, but he's giving it to us on the level that we're at. But if you're connected to it, you connect to the stuff that he says and realize, oh, he's trying to teach us how to manifest. Because he had a sermon where he said, me teaching you and bringing you to Christ, that's only the first step. If I don't teach you how to experience his goodness and the prosperity and to be in good health, then I failed what I was called to do. And how many pastors do that? They just want to get you in the church and have you pay the tithe.
Man, I know Bishop and also Mark Jones in Tampa. He's doing a lot for his people and the community.
And
Uh,
that's awesome. Because that's what they're called to do.
yeah, even with trying to help people get their credit straight and
Mm-hmm.
you know, so it's like we can't be so spiritual minded that we know earthly good, because
Oh, you better preach,
we know
Pastor.
it's some things that we got to do earthly,
Right.
to as well. We just can't, even with just trying to attract things. There's some things that we have to do earthly to do it as well.
Absolutely.
And but I wanted to say with Bishop, a lot of people, they think he, up here, but I was at where I was at Paula White, and when she took
In
over,
Orlando or Without Walls in
no,
Tampa.
when she took over Zachary Timms,
Okay, okay. And I can't remember the name of the church. Yeah, in Orlando.
yeah, they had him as a guest speaker, and so I got there late. It was packed, and so man, so happened I got there. The guy was like, "Hey, you come with me. You come with me." Man, they walked me down to the front row, and it was a seat left.
What?
I
That
was
was God.
I was sitting with all the pastors, and so afterwards, they told everybody to come who was on the front row to come into the back for refreshment. So I said, okay. So
Right.
went through there. Bishop was walking and he had like his little security or whatever, and I was like Bishop, can I talk to you for a minute? And so his security was like kind of pushed me like, nah, we headed somewhere. But Bishop
Mhm.
had stopped him and said, nah, let me speak to the young man. So man, he spoke to me and told me some things, and then he prayed for me. But I thought that, from that day forward, I thought that, that blessed me because, he could have kept going.
Right.
He took that time out to, just that time to just speak, some encouraging words, I mean, and pray for me. So, I know that he's not just, one of the top pastors, but
Right.
he's a person too. He
He's a
got,
person. Yes.
you
And he's
know,
a person in the pulpit. He doesn't get in the pulpit and act like he's holier than thou and never
yeah,
did no wrong. He lets you know, look, I'm human just like you.
yep,
Like I make mistakes just like you. I have bad days just like you. Even when he preached on, he said, "You come spit on me. You spit on me." He was like, I don't care. He said the bishop title going out the window. He keeps his soul 100. So I love that, and I love the way that you ended the chapter where you spoke that it's 22 years later and you're still here, and that your healing wasn't by mistake but on purpose. And you broke it down. So go ahead and break it down for our closing word.
man, I was deliberate, really, to sum it all up. I was deliberate with my healing. The same thing we just talked about and that's what makes this book so, a lot of people,
Y'all
man,
have to go get this book. I mean, I cannot say it enough.
and,
Go
and,
get this book.
and like I say, some people, they want to debate me in this book, but I say this book is what I use for my personal experience. you know, from my personal experience
Right.
that I got doctor records that you can go look at and that you can see.
Mhm.
You know, I still got the port, you know. So I'm telling them, okay, well, what you did, what you done manifest.
Right.
Okay, exactly. So,
Right.
you know, when you,
Because you always gonna have some naysayers. You always
yeah,
gonna have the naysayers, but they can't tell you anything they've done in their life using this.
and I'm just like, you know, just one person, you know, who may have cancer, who may pick up the book and get what they got to get, and they get healed from it. They be like, oh,
Right.
this he
Yeah.
won mine. So it's look how thin it is.
Yeah. It's 53 pages.
53
I
pages.
think I was saying 54, but it's 53 pages. I can
And
see right now.
because I figured I wrote it like this because I figure if you're going through something, you ain't got time to just sit there and read 400 pages.
Right.
You just get to it and sit back and wait.
All right. And TW Kane, let the people know where they can find you at and the book cheat code so they can go out and purchase it.
The book cheat code is on Amazon, TW Kane cheat code, and it looked like this. And also I'm TW Kang on what is that? TikTok. TW Kang on Facebook, and Mr. Free 404 on IG.
All right. Thank you so much. We
And we're
appreciate
gonna have more stuff coming. We're gonna have some teachings, some conferences, some
All
stuff,
right.
some brunches.
So y'all be sure to go and follow TW Kane. Thank you so much for joining us. If you guys want to stay on, we're going to be going through the law of correspondence and the law of polarity because I want to connect people to different laws of the universe. And you can also follow me. I'm not Coach Top Styles on all social media platforms, including YouTube, where you will be able to rewatch this live. Thank you all for joining us and have an awesome day. Thank you. I'm gonna call you as soon as I finish the training.
Call me.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot to end the live. Thank y'all for joining. Love y'all.